Today we're talking houses and how exactly you're going to buy one. Now, if you don't already know me, my name is Zach Satin. I'm a local realtor here in South Florida, providing you with the best info in the real estate game. And if you haven't already, go ahead and slam the subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified when I put out a new video every single week. Alright, boom. First thing you're going to do when you're thinking about buying a house is get pre-approved. I cannot stress this enough. You can't buy a house if you don't have a loan unless you're buying cash. So make sure, go shop around with some local lenders and get pre-approved. You get pre-approved before you go talk to a realtor. That way, you're ready to go. As soon as you meet the realtor, you can already get started scheduling showings and all that good stuff and get one step ahead of the competition. Another thing, make sure you're using a local lender. Try and skip over these big time lenders like Rocket Mortgage and all this stuff, because you want somebody that really understands the area that you want to buy in. So you want to use a lender that's familiar with that area. That way it really just helps you out a lot more in the long run, especially with things like appraisals. Alright, next thing's next. After you get pre-approved, it's time to get a consultation done with a realtor. Quick shameless plug, if you need a realtor in Florida or really any state, I'd be happy to help you find that right person for you or be that right person for you, so feel free to hit me up. Keep in mind, it is free to use a realtor when you're buying a home, so don't be scared to go get a consultation with somebody, because you're not spending a dime with a realtor when it comes to buying a home. It's the best opportunity for you. Now, when you are consulting with a realtor, if the first thing they don't do is go over the buying process with you, you need to get out of there. I don't care how many houses you bought. This is something that needs to be talked about over and over again, because things are always changing. Now, once you've consulted with that realtor, gone over the buying process, and they know exactly what you're looking for, it's time to go on to step 3. Now that you and your realtor know exactly what you're looking for, it's time for step 3, which is showings. If you don't know what showings are, it's pretty much just going around and looking at houses that you like that fit your criteria. This part's probably the most simple and fun. You're really just going to keep going to showings until you find that house that you really want, and you move on to step 4, where you put an offer on that home. Okay, so let's go over this. You've gotten pre-approved, you've met with the realtor that you're now working with, you've seen a bunch of homes, you found the dream one that you want, and now you put an offer on it. And if you're lucky enough, it'll get accepted ASAP. But most of the time, that's not going to happen, and you will need to deal with some negotiations. This is more for your realtor to handle. I mean, he's really just a messenger, but in the end, he's responsible for getting things done. And if he's a good agent, there shouldn't be any problems. I mean, sometimes things happen, you can't change it, it's whatever. But once negotiations are done, you're usually under contract. Congratulations, what's next? Alright, you're under contract now, so it's time to put in your escrow. If you don't know what escrow is, it's pretty much just like a deposit that's saying that if you back out of this contract for an invalid reason, you now owe that seller that amount of money. This money isn't separate at all, though, from the money you're using to buy the house. So when you do close on the home, you can choose to put that money towards your down payment, your closing costs, or whatever you choose. It's still all a part of one big package. It's mainly just there as a safeguard for both parties, and you have 3 days to get escrow in, and if you don't, the contract is void. Realistically, though, sooner is better, so if you get under contract on Monday, it's a good thing to get your escrow in by Tuesday. Next in line is inspection. Right after you're done getting that escrow in, you want to make sure you get an inspection scheduled ASAP and get it done ASAP. The sooner the better. Usual inspection periods right now are looking at about 10 days, maybe even less, but it's usually enough time for your inspector to get in, do a good job finding what he needs to find, get it back to you, and then figuring out if you need to negotiate some things, or even if you decide that you even want that house still. Now, once your inspection passes, you are on to stage 2, which is appraisal. Alright, you're almost to the finish line, but now you need to make sure that the house you're paying for is actually worth how much you want to pay. Now, recently it has been changed that the mortgage lender is responsible for ordering and sending out the appraisal, so you don't need to worry about calling up an appraiser at all. The lender will take care of all of that. So, once your lender gets their appraiser out there, they will go ahead and do their job, deduce how much the house is actually worth, and then once they do that, you're going to find out how much the house is actually worth. And what you need it to be is the house needs to appraise for at or above the value that you're paying. So if you're paying $450,000 for this house, and it appraises for $450,000 or $500,000, whatever, you are good to proceed. But if it doesn't, there needs to be some type of negotiation between you and the seller to either bring that price down to the appraised value, or meet in the middle, or if you're even willing to just keep your price the same if you can afford it. Like if it appraised for $435,000, but you offer $450,000, you need to see if that seller is willing to come down to $435,000, or maybe if they'll meet you in the middle, or are you willing to just straight up pay $450,000 anyways and bring up the extra cash. If you and the seller can't meet in the middle and can't decide on anything, you're going to have to back out of the contract and just move on to the next house. Forget that guy. He knows what his house is worth now. Good luck with a different person. You do get all your escrow back if you back out during an appraisal for a certain reason like this, and you just continue on to the next home. But let's say everything goes well, then you're on to the next step, which is loan commitment. Loan commitment is pretty much just a lender making sure everything is still the same with your income. You haven't bought any new cars. Now buy a new car if you're trying to buy a house. And they're just going to verify and commit to that loan. So as long as you haven't bought a new car or apply for a new credit card or anything that could really impact your credit score or your income or any of that stuff, you should be good to proceed. Most loan commitment periods are 30 to 45 days. Okay, the final step is the final walkthrough. So once you've seen the home, put an offer, done your negotiations, done your inspection, done your appraisal, and got committed for the loan, it's time to just go through, look at the house one more time, make sure it's the same way that you saw it when you left, or it's left in the same condition that it's meant to be left in according to the contract, to make sure everything is good for you in that home and that you still want it. And now it's time for closing. Congratulations, you've closed on your home and completed the buying process to home ownership. I really hope this video helped you guys out. And if you do need a realtor, feel free to hit me up or DM me here or here with any additional questions or help or anything. I'd be glad to help out. I'm always happy to. And thanks for watching. See you.